Why do I look like that?
F you, camera.
Oh, how tan do I need to look right now? What? Light is blasting on me right now. And I still look like I'm Mexican. I really tried to like this book, I really did. And I don't know why everyone says it's terrible.
Well, they're right. Scarlet Sucks! Marissa Meyer, what were you thinking? What was going on in your head that made you decide to write a book where nothing happens? Especially after your first book was so explosive with the action and so unique with the world, you just decide to throw all of that away and just set a book in France. I had the utter displeasure of listening to this on audiobook because I wanted to read it fast and I just wanted to start right away. So I just read the book, I didn't go out and buy it because that takes time. And since nothing was happening, I got to focus more on the writing itself, and boy was that a mistake! So after Cinder, she's told by the scientist dude, hey, meet me in Africa and we'll continue on with the plot. And so at the beginning of this book, she's like, you know what? Let's not go to Africa. Let's just f around and not do anything. I want to hear about my past. Which is fine, like the Cinder bits, like everyone says, the Cinder bits were the most interesting kind because Cinder's a unique character. She is cyborg in a world that does not like cyborgs, which I'll get to in a minute. That really pisses me off too. She is lunar in a world where lunars are the enemies. She can do this glamour thing, and she's a unique person. And then we go, but in this book we're introduced to Scarlet, who is not unique whatsoever. She is your average Joe, or Mary Jane, whatever. And her big thing is she doesn't know where her grandmère is. Grandmère! Where is my grandmère? Oh my God! If I have to hear that whiny voice one more time, or if I have to hear the name Michel Benoit one more time, I'm going to put a bullet in my head. Literally, they do not stop cramming this into your fucking head the whole time. Where is Michel Benoit? Where is Michel Benoit? Michel Benoit! Grandmère! Grandmère! Where are you? Grandmère! This book has driven me a little bit crazy, I think. Also, what's not helping with my sanity is the lazy and repetitive writing style that this book has. I don't know if it wasn't in Cinder or if I just didn't notice it, but in Scarlet, it's just horrendous. It's nauseating. The way she describes emotions or what the character is feeling, she has only 3 ways of doing it and she never deviates from that. It's either every muscle in my body, blah, or head aching, blah, heart beating, blah, heart thumping, blah, heart hammering, blah. Every emotion is the same. There was not one page that went by that it seemed like where she didn't reference the fucking heartbeat. Like, I understand, these people are alive! Their hearts are beating, yes! If you say, my heart's beating so fast, every page, it loses all meaning. I do not, this scene is no longer exciting. Stop telling me that her heart is beating so fucking fast and just show me something, some event that makes my heart beat fast, as opposed to just telling me her heart beat fast again and 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 again. Which brings me to another point. The way she would describe these things had the syntax, the way she structured this sentence was the same way every time. It's always heart throbbing, she did something else. Head aching, she did something else. Gulping, she. Entire body shaking, she. Noun, verb, pronoun, verb. Noun, verb, pronoun, verb. Noun, verb, pronoun, verb. Noun, verb, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God! I couldn't. I did though. I suffered through it. I listened to the whole thing and I am clearly a better person for it. Let's talk about the plot for a minute. So, what plot though? Right, this book is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, and the plot in that is Grandma gets eaten by a wolf, and I'm walking through the woods. So she's looking for her grandma the whole time. But as a reader, we know 0 about said grandma. So I don't give a shit about this grandma. I don't give a shit about this old lady at all. All it would have taken is 1 or 2 flashbacks to see the interactions between Scarlet and her grandma, to see how they interact, to see that their relationship is worth caring about, but we don't get that. We just get her freaking out that she doesn't know where her grandma is and she doesn't know what's going on. The whole book. So eventually at the end, when we do find grandma, we don't give a shit. The only reason I was relieved at all was that this book was ending. Again, villain, again, cartoon character villain, cliche James Bond villain. Lazy. The world, which was fantastic in the first book. It was a unique setting. We were in Beijing, new Beijing. Now we're fucking in France, where all love stories go to die. Could we not select a more cliche setting for a love story? France? Paris of all places? Oh, wow. Okay. This really stuck out to me. I don't know why I didn't notice it in Cinder, but now it just was made blaringly obvious. This whole she's a cyborg and therefore we hate her, that is such a forced source of tension. So forced. Because does she not know what a cyborg is? A cyborg is a handicapped person, okay? It's a disabled person that needs some sort of prosthesis or some sort of mechanical enhancement to return eyesight to them or give them use of their limbs again. You know, for war veterans that happen to lose limbs in battle, or for unfortunate children that are born without limbs, fully formed. They receive robotic limbs so that they can perform regular tasks like a regular human being. These are not like evil, I don't understand the bigotry towards cyborgs. Look at this kid.
Grabbing a backpack is hardly the feat of a superhero, unless you're 12-year-old Leon McCarthy and your hand looks like it's straight out of a science fiction movie.
You've actually become sort of a
cyborg.
There's a cool factor.
Yeah, it's like it's special instead of different.
People with disabilities like that have to deal with those challenges every day are seen as brave or heroes for having to deal with such challenges in their everyday life. And they are praised by media and it's just, there's such positivity surrounding these sorts of disabilities that making the jump to say that they'll ever be seen as monsters or that they'll ever be oppressed, it's ridiculous. Unless society somehow becomes Nazis again, but throughout everything I've learned in Cinder, that's not the situation. So it's just fake and it's stupid. It's just cheap. It's cheap.
This is from the press conference in chapter 24.
Did you know that she was a cyborg? Asked a woman in an unhidden tone of disgust.
Can you imagine the president being asked this question in a press conference, but instead of cyborg, instead of this sciencey word, replace it with something that we're more familiar with, a similarly disadvantaged person, or one who is a minority. Some bitch raises her hand and asks the president, "Sir, did you realize she was fat when you invited her to the ball?" Or, "Sir, did you realize she was mentally retarded when you invited her to the ball?" Like, do you realize how stupid that sounds? Do you realize how stupid that sounds? Because that's what you sound like, Marissa Meyer. You are fabricating tension. And it's so blatantly obvious because you think cyborg sounds like a fancy, scary, sciencey word, but really it's just a disabled person. And why? So that pissed me off. There's also hatred toward androids and robots and stuff too, which it still doesn't make sense because why is there a market for this? People are buying these products. So this like racism against these robots, it just doesn't make sense. Speaking of robots, there's this horribly annoying thing going on. This is the last point I have to make. You know, it's a sci-fi book, so everything has to be science-y, futuristic-y. So, you know, instead of flipping on a light switch, you just say, lights on, and the lights come on. So cool, right? So futuristic-y. Even though you can do that from your phone without fucking saying it. But anyway, when Cinder's like searching something online, she has it read back to her in this most robotic, cliche voice you've ever heard. And you probably don't hear it in the book because it's a book. But on this, it's just like, error, subject not found. It's just infuriating because it's 2015 and Siri is old news and she sounds pretty much like a regular person, okay? Siri, search for Marissa Meyer.
Okay, I found this on the web for Marissa Meyer.
See? And she also pronounces things wrong, which is funny, which was not a part of this. Everything was pronounced 100% correctly, even French, but it was still in this fucking robotic voice. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. You know, hundreds of years from now, this technology should advance to where it sounds exactly like a regular person. And there's other stupid technology things in this too. It's like this book was written in the 80s and this is what you thought the future was gonna be like. When really we have shit today that's far more technologically advanced than the things in this book, and that's why I don't like sci-fi, because the majority of sci-fi writers never do their research. They don't care about the future enough to actually predict what's going to be in the future well enough. They just do these stupid sci-fi tropes that were famous in the 70s and the 80s that don't hold up today. And it takes me right out of the experience. Ugh. You know, I wouldn't have noticed any of this. Well, I would have noticed it, but it wouldn't have been a big deal if I would have had some substance to this book, if I would have had a plot to pay attention to as opposed to nothing. Yeah, this really ruined my week. I was all excited to do the third one, but I need a fucking break after this. It's awful. It's only a mother could love it. 2 stars. Seriously. It's just, don't. Let me know below if you agree or disagree with me, although I think you'll all agree that this book was bad. Anyway, thanks for listening to me rant. I know I feel better. I'll see you soon.